August 12th, 2020. We were just coming out of COVID. The economy was very challenging here in our city as it was worldwide. We also had failing infrastructure. At that same time, we were also dealing with a great resignation. And so we formulated a plan in which we would address our water and sewer issues, we would address the bankruptcy issues, we would address all of the other challenges that we had organizationally speaking as well. And so we had to formulate a plan not just to save the city, but also the organization itself.
So typically in local municipal government, we budget year by year by year. Here in the city of Hallandale Beach, due to our financial crisis that we were experiencing, we decided that we would do a 5-year financial plan where we looked 5 years in the future, our revenues and our expenditures for those 5 years. So a few of the revenue generating strategies that we came up with was one, the property tax rate increase. We had determined that the property tax rate has not been increased for some time. We did that. We also increased our parking enforcement, our parking program, which has generated about $1.6 million in revenue every year since its inception. We also created a certificate of use program, a payment in lieu of a taxes program, and a franchise fee program, all which is expected to generate about $66 million through fiscal year 2028.
So one of the biggest things that we face is our struggle to be able to have staffing. We were not very competitive with other agencies at the time, and so we were facing almost a 20% reduction in our force. So we started to strategize how we were going to perform our functions. And we started to use more data-driven information, stuff like that, in order for us to be able to be as effective and as efficient as we have been in the past, given the fact that we had limited resources. One of the other things that we actually faced at that time was also we didn't have all the equipment that we needed. So we had to find other ways and other mechanisms in order to be able to make that or have that equipment available for our officers. One of those is the shot spotter detection system that we have. That technology, which is cutting edge, allows us to respond to and deter gun violence. One of the things that we learned was that barely people would ever call whenever we had gunshots out there. Maybe 95% of gunshots were never ever reported. So it has been very successful to the point that now we've expanded it throughout the entire city. On top of that, we also have our license plate recognition system, which also helps us to track stolen vehicles, criminals, even traffic-related incidents. So there are technologies that we've been able to leverage. That's one of our biggest things here in Hallandale, is that we use technology to our advantage.
We had floods, pipes break in every single day. I think we ran the numbers and we had probably 6 months in which different residents, different sections of the city had no water for a total combined of about 6 months at that time.
When it rains excessively, we do have a lot of flooding issues and impacts. So by building out our stormwater management processes and projects, we want to strengthen our mitigation against those impacts from the flooding. Altogether, we have about $200+ million worth of projects that we're currently working on. We're in transition. We're moving from a place of a lack of prioritization, a lack of focused effort, a lack of infrastructure that could last and that was sustainable, moving to a place where all of those things are now reversed. One of the things this city is great for right now is development. And we're developing at a very rapid pace, economically speaking. And the one thing we don't want to do is to develop so fast that we don't have our infrastructure keep up, because that would be building upon things that we know are going to fail at any moment. But once we've gone through that transition, we'll look completely different. We'll be completely transformed. We have streets that had not had any attention for 20 years. Potholes and the edges of the roads completely broken off. Now we're paving the entire city as much as we can. So now you're going to come through Hallandale Beach in the near future and you're not going to recognize the roads that you're driving on.
Currently, right now, we are looking at a $31 million surplus from where we were just a few years ago. That speaks to the hard work of the administration and the governing body working in tandem with us to approve these financial strategies, to give us the lifeline we needed, to bolster our reserves, diversify our revenues, and stabilize the budget. Right now, actually, in this budget cycle, we are proposing a millage tax decrease.
We want to instill in our team that way of thinking that always questions, that always wants to be better, that always wants to be sustainable, not just financially sustainable, but sustainable at every level in the organization. So we now create new dogmas and a new culture that has these belief systems. And once you can instill these belief systems in individual employees, then whether I am here or not, those employees now have that new way of seeing things and that new way of doing things that hopefully will lead this city continually into success, over the next decade or so.